Hi guys, we are working in the textbook doing the first, I'm going to do a couple of demos, maybe just one initially, for the exercises that will be due in Chapter 1. We're working in the Exploring Adobe Photoshop CS6 with CC Addendum textbook by Tony Toland and Anessa Hartman. And I'm starting out on page 11, whatever that page number is, page 1. It's called Importing and Cropping the Photo. The lesson is the quick photo makeover, and that's the one that I'll do initially, and I may load up a couple more later on in the week. So if you don't already have Photoshop installed on your computer, you can download the most recent version. And honestly, I did not, because I do have Photoshop, I did not go out and check this out. And their most recent version is not actually CS6, it's CC. So if you do go to the website that's listed on page 5 in your textbook, you should be downloading CC rather than CS6. You'll see that I have Photoshop launched. And then from the File menu in Photoshop, we're going to go to File and Open. And we're going to go for, let's see where this is, Lessons. And we're going to look for Chapter 1, Assets. And we're going to open Lake PSD file. Now to save your work, we must make a copy of the chapter lessons to the local hard drive and select files from that location, which is, I mentioned earlier, and it also mentioned it in your textbook as well, so make sure that you've done that. I now have open the image Lake PSD, and I am going to just pull out these panels so you can see them a little bit better. Here's the toolbox that we work with on a regular basis, and then over here will be the panels that we work with, and the layers, which we also work with regularly in Photoshop. We're going to, from the menu bar at the top of the screen, we're going to choose View, and we're going to Fit on Screen. That enlarges the photo just a little bit to the Photoshop window size. Then we're going to select Photoshop Preferences. I'm going to go to Photoshop and Preferences, and that's if you're on a Mac. If you're on a PC, you want to go under Edit. But on a Mac, you're going to go to Photoshop Preferences, and we're going to go to Units and Rulers, which I'm sure it's someplace here. Yep, Units and Rulers. And in the Preferences dialog box that pops up, we're going to set the ruler units to inches, which mine already are, and then we're going to click OK. And then your rulers, if they're not showing, you're going to want to go to View and Rulers. And you'll see if they're not showing, you won't have a little checkbox there. But if they are, you have that check, then they're, and you should be able to see them in your window. All right, so we have done that. We are going to select the Crop tool. And if you look under Figure 1-5, it's going to show you the Crop tool. C is the quick key, and then this is the Crop tool as well, you can see on my screen. And this is used to delete unnecessary or unflattering parts from the edges of an image. So at the top of the document window, in the Options panel, we're going to select the Straighten option. So if you look up here, you can see that you can click on the Straighten option. That will become dark to show that that's chosen. And then we're going to click and drag with the Straighten tool along the lake's shoreline from the left to the right. So you see that it's just a little bit down. Well, we're going to click and drag with this tool that we just chose right to here. And you'll see how nicely that straightens. Now we're going to type in the following parameters for the Crop tool in the Options bar. This is the Options bar, and we are going to type in the width of 12 inches, Actually, we're going to look here, width and height. Looks like to me that they have custom showing here, so I'm going to see. This might be just a little bit different than what the from what the this is CS6 and we're in CC, remember? So I'm going to try this width and height. And it is 13 inches. We'll see if this works. If it doesn't, then I'll try something else. 13 inches by 8.5 inches. And then we're going to hit tab. And then we're going to tap or return, hit the enter key or return key twice to execute the crop. That really does not look right. But we're going to go to view and see actual pixels to see the final cropped image and see if I don't think that's right. So we're going to undo that because I think that I'm not reading this correctly. Let me check this out and I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. We are back in business, and I did this width by height by resolution, but I failed to put in the resolution. I just put in the width and height and moved it over too far. So if you put the width in the first text box available, and if I'd have read that little quick key, it would have told me, and then you put in the height for the cropped image, and then you set the resolution for the cropped image. And I set it at 72 because we're working with it on screen. You could set it 150, assuming that the image was large enough, but then you would hit the enter or return. And does it tell us? It doesn't really say which resolution, so I'm going to leave it at 72 just in case I want to crop it down a little bit later. So I'm going to click return and enter, and there we go. So if you do make a mistake, which is exactly what I did the last time before when I cut out for a minute, is I went up to Window and I brought up the History panel. You'll see that here. And I just backed up to where I was originally, to the lake, and it took me right back to where I was before I had done anything. And then, of course, this is after I executed the crop. And then you want to choose View Actual Pixels to see the final cropped image. Now we already know that there's no actual pixels on this drop-down menu, so I'm just going to say 100%, and that's either that or the print size would be appropriate for that. Now, if the background layer in the Layers panel is automatically renamed Layer 0, which mine wasn't, after you crop the photo, use Layer Flatten Image. Well, it didn't. I have still a locked layer here. So we're going to do a File, and we're going to leave that alone. We're going to do File and Save As. And we're going to save this as Lake. We're going to underscore and your name. And we're going to leave it in a Photoshop document file format, .psd. Now you've noticed, as I have, that this has got a lot of issues in terms of color. It's really got too much red or magenta in it, and so we are going to fix that with just one easy step. We're going to go to Image, and we are going to go down to Auto Color, and there you go. And oh my goodness, how nice that is. All right, now we're going to again work on the contrast a little bit. We're going to go to Image, we're going to go to Adjustments, and then we're going to go over to Levels. And this allows us to access the Levels options. This is called a histogram, and all of these reflect the pixels that are in this image. These are the number of dark pixels, the number of light pixels, and the number of highlights. Or I'm sorry, number of dark, midtone, and light pixels. We're going to type in 32 for the leftmost number. Now normally I just, I just do that visually. I click and drag until it looks to me like the contrast is right. But the textbook is having us type in 32 for the leftmost, 1.6 for the middle, and hit tab, and then leave the right one set at 255. And then we're going to click OK. All right, now we're going to delete the distracting elements in the photo, the cars, the van, and the people. You'll notice you'll use the Content Aware Retouching option to make this happen. And I'm going to just do one of those, and then I'm going to have you finish out the rest by yourself. But first, and I'm sure it probably has us do this someplace in here, but let's see. I'll start out doing what the textbook tells me, and then I'm going to come back in and show you how to get rid of this. So we're going to get the zoom tool, and we're going to click and hold it on one of the cars at the right of the house. So that's probably in this area. And you're just going to click and hold, and that's going to bring it up so we can see a little bit closer, so we can see all of those cars. It's at about 400%. Mine is at 616%, so I could just back off slightly by holding down my Alt or Option key to get it to 400%, to be closer to where the textbook says we should be in terms of zoom strength, 400%. All right, now we're going to get the lasso tool, which is right here in your toolbox. And we're going to click and drag around one of the cars, and when we let go of the mouse, the car will be surrounded by marching ants. So we're just going to click and drag this around this car. And there are the marching ants that it's speaking of. And then we're going to tap the delete backspace key in the fill window. Okay, so we're going to hit the delete, or if you're on a PC, the backspace. And this dialog box comes up that says, well, what do you want to fill that with if you're going to delete it? We're going to choose Content Aware. So if you click on this and do Content Aware, and then click OK. And how nice is that? All right, if you do not get the option to fill the selection with Content Aware, use Edit Undo. If you've already deleted the car, use Edit Fill, then select the Content Aware option. But that worked for us. So we're going to continue to select small portions of the rest of the cars and fill them with the Content Aware option. So I'm going to come over here, and you see, as soon as I didn't get that very well right there. If I were actually doing this for a client, I'd probably go back in and redo that just so I could get rid of that little piece of the car right there. We're going to again hit delete, hit Content Aware, and see how quickly that happens. How nice is that? And again hit delete. Oh, geez Louise. All right, delete. And Content Aware. All right. Now we're going to zoom back out. So first we're going to do a select and deselect. And then we're going to, I'm going to just do this because it drives me crazy. Okay. Hit delete. Content Aware. Much better. And this actually drives me nuts over here too. So I'm going to lasso this and hit delete and Content Aware. All right, then we're going to zoom back out. So we're going to get the zoom tool, and we're going to hit Alt or Option, gives us the minus, which says that we're going to be zooming out. And we're going to do select, deselect. Okay. Now, we can also clean up the front yard. I am going to sign off now, and I may be back a little bit later to help you out as it relates to some of the type in the back, but I think if you have need for any other demos before I get back with you, be sure and let me know. Otherwise, that's it for today, and I will see you Monday night for our meeting. Look forward to it.